Hey everybody, Arturo Johnson here, and in today's video I'm going to share with you how I went from 0 to 1 million in 18 months in my business and the 5 key things that I would have done differently if I had to start all over again. So if you're a coach, consultant, or a life insurance agent and you're looking to scale your business to making $1 million, then this video is going to give you the 5 mistakes that you should avoid making from going from 0 to 1 million. So stick around. And so when I first went on my entrepreneurial journey, I was doing life insurance by day and then waiting tables by night, trying to build my business to make sure that everything was going to go well, but also still having at 5 to 6K every single month as a safety net until my business took off. And when I started on my entrepreneur journey back in 2018, I think it was like April of 2018, I sought out to quit both of my jobs in the next 6 months, and that was an amazing journey for me. And in the first 18 months, I actually exceeded the goals that I thought I was going to be able to achieve, because when I was a life insurance agent, I was following some of these guys and I was just like, oh man, how long you been in the business? He's like, I've been doing this for 5 years and I graduated from Vanderbilt and I'm doing pretty good, making good money. And he was only doing like 20 grand a month. Not even that. He was doing 210,000 a year. So he was only doing like maybe like 16,000 a month. And I was thinking, man, he's been doing that for 5 years. I wanted to do that in less than 5 months. And so once I realized that wasn't the vehicle, I went back to your waiting tables and I was like, okay, I've got to figure out a solution to this problem. And then I kind of have to go out on my own. And so from there, that's where everything started. And the first point that I wish I would have done was I would have sought out information a lot sooner. And so a lot of times we are looking around for signs and wonders on things to become a realization for us in the physical realm of like a sign of revelation for us. And a lot of times it doesn't come that way. It comes from information, and information then creates the idea. And I think Jim Rohn says words are the way that we see the world. And what happens is a lot of times the idea is going to be the thing that's going to make you $1 million. And so where do you get the ideas from? You get it from information. You get it from courses, seminars, books, Audible, watching YouTube. And so that's what I wish I would have done. I wish I would have sought out a lot more information, because then I would have believed in myself a little bit more. It's like, oh, this person did this to have this result, that if they can do it, then I can do it. And then once I started to believe that, and I was like, okay, do they have something that's a resource that can give me the step-by-step journey to their success? And Tony Robbins says that if you want to be successful, the only thing you need to do is find someone else that is successful doing what you want to be doing and model them. And so if I would have sought out information a lot sooner, I would have had more confidence. It would have had me more optimistic about the future. It would have created some anticipation for me that then would have drove me to take more action in a shorter period of time, and I would have gotten results a little bit faster. And so number one was seeking out more information. And a lot of times when we get done with school, we're all like burnt out from the academic system. Stand up, sit down, read this, regurgitate that. And a lot of the information that we do learn is useless and is very basic. So once we're done with school, we're like, okay, no one ever has to tell me to go to class or get out of the hallways and these things anymore. And so we stopped learning. And that was one of the habits that I had to break, was I needed to continue to learn and educate myself. And once I realized that when I was able to learn or be curious about subjects that I was actually interested, I actually read a lot more. And in 1 year, I read over 100 books. If I can do it, anybody can. And so number 2 was I should have kept my goals to myself. And there's a saying that don't talk about what you're going to do, talk about what you've done. And when I first started on my entrepreneurial journey, I had tons of doubt. At that time, believe it or not, my partner, my wife at the time was like, you're going to go from doing this safe and secure thing to going as an entrepreneur. We're trying to have a baby. We just got married. We just bought our first starter home. And it was a lot of uncertainty. And so she had a lot of fear based around that. And for a little bit, we didn't mesh well. I had some other people in my ear telling me that I just needed to go and get a job with benefits and all these things. And then lo and behold, if I would have listened to them from all of the negative information that I thought they were giving me, I would have went and worked at Dell and I would have gotten laid off. And it wasn't that they were trying to hate on me or they were negative. They just wanted me to be safe and secure. And out of love, right, they didn't want to see me fail or make any mistakes. And so a lot of times when you first start out with something, people who love you can't see your vision, and they'll try to protect you from failure and protect you from things that they're afraid of doing with their own mindset as well. And so if I were to start over, I would have kept a lot of my dreams to myself and then told people what I did instead of what I was going to do. Number 3, now after I started my business, in the first 3 months of having my business, I think I started out at like $500 a month, and then I went to 1,000, and then I went to 1,500. And man, I was at 1,500 for probably 3 or 4 months before I actually like raised my prices to something crazy. And that's why it took me to 18 months to get to that first million. And I wish I would have raised my prices a lot faster and scaled a lot harder. And right out of the gate, my mentor, shout out to Sam Ovens from the Consultant Accelerator, he was telling us to charge anywhere between 2,500 to 5,000. And if I would have done that, man, I would have had $1 million run rate really, really fast, and would have hit that $83,333 a lot sooner than what I did. And it really just came down to value. And at that time, my identity wasn't who I thought it was, because at this time, I just started my business. I had all of these people telling me that I should go and do something else. 80-90% of the businesses fail, and you're about to have a baby. You don't want to be responsible about all these things. I had all of that weight on my shoulders, and so I was trying to play it safe. I wanted to make sure that I got the customer. But what I ended up doing is I ended up doing the same work that I could have gotten paid twice and 3 times for. And the one thing that I did learn from that is, if you're the cheapest, nobody expects you to be the best. And if you're the best, nobody expects you to be the cheapest. So when you're going into a space where you're the CEO of your business and you can have full control over the pricing, the profits, and the payroll, then the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you have premium value pricing 100%. And the reason why is because people who pay attention. And I found that the people who pay the most attention. And so I wish for number 3 that I would have raised my prices and scaled a lot harder and faster. And number 4. And so Daniel Priestley makes this assumption, and I think it's 24 Assets, one of his books, that income follows assets. And so when I first heard that from one of my mentors, Myron, that really stuck out to me. And I thought about this for a minute, and I was like, income follows assets. And what I realized is like, oh, the wealthiest people in the world have either the most assets or they have the best ones, and poor people have little to none. So when I first started my business, I wish I would have built more assets. And so what do I mean by that? I wish I would have built an email list a lot faster. And more importantly, I wish I would have built a YouTube channel, because YouTube is the number 2 biggest search engine, and it's owned by Google, which is number 1. So I wish I would have built my YouTube channel a lot sooner as an asset, because before I was just posting on Facebook, but I never thought, because I needed to make money so fast that I was thinking short term, that I should have put all of my content on YouTube. Because the day that you put your content on YouTube is the only day that it's going to be that low. And from then on, it'll always have more views. And also with that, I would have built assets. I would have built assets that would have been my philosophy of one to many. And then also one of my philosophies that do something one time that it exponentially evolves and grows and builds. And building assets like an email list and a YouTube channel and any other social media platforms are your assets. And now more than ever, as an entrepreneur, as a life insurance agent, as a coach, consultant, whatever you're doing, even if you're working a 9-to-5, you need to be building a personal brand. And the easiest way to build a brand is to start a YouTube channel because it is evergreen content. It lives on forever. And the fifth thing that I wish I would have done a lot faster and a lot sooner was changing my environment. And even up until last year, I wish I would have done this. And you know how they say that your network is your net worth, and you're the sum of the 5 people that you hang around most. If you hang around 5 millionaires, you'll soon to become the 6th, right? Stick around a barbershop long enough, you'll get a haircut. You hear all of these things. And why do people say these things? Because it is so true. When you shift to become around people who are successful, that look like they're lucky, they're having the best life, their beliefs are very, very different than most. And a lot of times, if you believe things, then you can achieve it. And so why is this important? And why am I even bringing this up? Because over the past 2 years, I've been in Sam Ovens' Quantum Mastermind, and it's $36,000 per year to be in. And I kept putting off going to this mastermind over and over and over again. And then right at the end of 2022, he said that he was shutting it down. And I had just missed the last mastermind that I could have went to meet my mentor and a guy who helped me make over $5 million in the last 3 or 4 years, and then connect with some of the other high-level entrepreneurs that are in there, like Cole Gordon, Brian Moncada, and a host of other people that have been in there. I'm sure you've heard of the tons of people that have gone through Sam Ovens training, and I missed out. And so this year, I vowed to never do that again. And so I'm taking all the trips. I'm going to all of the seminars. I'm going to all the live events, because you get to level up. You get to be around people that have high energy, and you get to build a network. Because a lot of times in this business, right, it's a very lonely business, right? We're in our office, or we're focused on a goal, we're working from home, and whatever the case may be, it feels like a lonely business because you can't share this with the average person. You can't walk downstairs, or you can't share, man, I'm doing $100,000 a month with the average Joe. They're gonna look at you like you're bragging. And a lot of times you may be frustrated because you hadn't been able to break through to get to 200. And they're like, dude, what are you complaining about? And so they don't understand. And so when you go to those masterminds, you build these endless connections. And if you want to get to that next level, you've got to change the environment that you're in and get into another one where people that are more ambitious than you, that are inspiring to have bigger goals than you, and are willing to hold you accountable if you want to achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve. And so changing your environment is really simple these days. What you can do with just a click of a button and a good decision is you can end up swapping out average friends and family, which is nothing wrong with that don't have the vision and are still working a 9-to-5, to people that are making $1 million, $10 million, $100 million. And then you can go to an event and actually meet them. And guess what? That's also a friendship. That's also leverage for marketing, and it's also leverage for promotions. And so getting in the room is probably the most important thing. If there was the one takeaway that I will really implore you, if you're a new coach, consultant, entrepreneur, life insurance agents, go to all the events that you can. I just had the pleasure of coming back from Miami, where I went to one of the biggest conferences as a life insurance agent. And I'm not even a life insurance agent, but 5 to 6 of my clients got one of the most prestigious awards. And I was able to go to a dinner, and I got to listen to Dave Anderson speak. And if you don't know who Dave Anderson is and you're a high performer, you should definitely look him up. because Dave Anderson helps the 1% of the 1% top professional athletes like Damian Lillard and some of these high performers to make sure that they're at their peak performance. And what I realize is that a lot of times going through the event, people are just trying to get something to take away from it. But the thing that you're going to get that's going to be exponential, it's going to remind you what you do. It's going to surround you with people who think like you so that you won't feel alone. And then you're going to build relationships, right? And my slogan for 2023 is relationships over revenue, because your relationships will take you places that the level of achievement, success that you have cannot get you. And I'm a prime example for that, because I'm not a life insurance agent. I did not work for that company. I did not hit the goals, and I wasn't a partner or spouse of somebody who achieved that prestigious reward of a minimum of $400,000 in a year. And I was invited to go to that dinner, and it was because of my relationship. So at the end of the day, relationships are going to be the most powerful things that you want to build. And that's why going to events and masterminds are very important. Well, hope this video was helpful. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, and share this with an entrepreneur, insurance agent, coach, or consultant, for somebody who you think is on that journey and may just need a little bit of motivation or pick me up. And a lot of times they just need a reminder. And thank you so much for sharing these few minutes with me. And I'll see you in the next video.